Dylan Gabriel, who's my number 9 QB. And remember this, Ross, I said this all throughout the draft. People will say it as a knock, but I thought he'd be an outstanding CFL quarterback because of the wide field and how spread open the game is. And just by looking at what we've seen so far during Browns minicamp and OTAs, he looks smaller than I remember him being. I thought he was more of a thicker build guy that I remember seeing him at the Senior Bowl and also at during Oregon. But
listen up, because what's happening in Cleveland right now might just rewrite everything we thought we knew about this quarterback battle. While everyone's been sleeping on the real story, Shedeur Sanders just dropped some absolutely ridiculous numbers that have people inside the Browns facility whispering about something nobody saw coming. We're talking about a rookie who's completing passes at a 77.4% clip with 9 touchdowns in OTAs, while his competition is struggling with the most basic concerns. And I'm not just talking about arm strength or accuracy. Dylan Gabriel's height issues are becoming the elephant in the room that nobody wants to address, and the numbers don't lie. This isn't just another rookie camp story. This might be the moment that changes the entire trajectory of Cleveland's franchise, and the drama behind the scenes is getting real. But here's where it gets absolutely insane. And this is something the mainstream media isn't telling you because they're too busy with their surface-level takes. The people who actually know football, the ones who've been watching tape and breaking down every single rep, they're seeing something that should have every Browns fan either celebrating or absolutely terrified, depending on how you look at it. You see, there's this narrative that's been building around Shedeur Sanders since draft day. The critics said he was just a product of his dad's system, that he couldn't handle the pocket pressure, that he was too much of a Colorado kid to survive in the NFL trenches. But what's happening in Cleveland right now is making those takes look absolutely foolish. And I'm about to break down exactly why this quarterback competition might already be over before training camp even starts. The reports coming out of Cleveland have been nothing short of spectacular when it comes to Shedeur's performance. We're talking about a guy who's not just meeting expectations, he's absolutely obliterating them. His accuracy has been pinpoint, his arm strength is silencing the doubters. And here's the kicker that nobody's talking about. He's doing all of this while getting limited reps with the first team. Think about that for a second. This kid is maximizing every single opportunity he gets because he knows he's fighting for his NFL life. Every throw matters. Every read matters. Every decision under pressure matters. And according to the people who are actually there watching, not the talking heads on TV, Shedeur is making the most of every single rep. But let's get real about what's happening on the other side of this competition, because this is where the story gets really interesting. Dylan Gabriel, who was supposed to be the safe pick, the experienced college quarterback who could step in and compete immediately, is dealing with something that you just can't coach or fix: physical limitations that are becoming more apparent. Every single day, the size concerns with Dylan Gabriel aren't just about height, though that's definitely part of it. We're talking about a quarterback who looks smaller than expected, and in a league where pocket presence and the ability to see over rushing linemen can make or break a career, that's a problem that no amount of coaching can solve. The inside sources are saying he looks thinner, less imposing than they remembered from his college tape. And that's creating some serious questions about his ability to handle the physical demands of the NFL. Here's what's really wild about this whole situation, and this is where the drama gets juicy. The Browns didn't just draft these two quarterbacks by accident. They had a plan, they had evaluations, they had months of scouting reports. But sometimes, when you get these guys in the building and start putting them through real NFL-level workouts, the truth comes out in ways that no college tape can reveal. And the truth about Shedeur Sanders is that he's everything that people said they loved about other successful pocket passers, but somehow it became a knock against him during the draft process. Think about it. What did people praise about guys like Brock Purdy when he signed his big contract? Plays from the pocket, throws on time, gets the ball out with perfect placement and accuracy. Well, damn, that sounds exactly like what Shedeur Sanders has been doing his entire college career and is now doing in Cleveland. The irony here is absolutely incredible. The same qualities that make quarterbacks successful in the NFL, pocket presence, accuracy, timing, football IQ, were somehow twisted into negatives when it came to evaluating Shedeur. But now that he's in an NFL facility, working with NFL coaches and competing against NFL-level talent, those qualities are shining through in ways that are making everyone take notice. But here's where the psychological aspect of this whole thing gets really fascinating. Shedeur Sanders isn't just playing football, he's playing with house money. He knows that every rep he gets is a chance to prove the doubters wrong. And that kind of motivation can be absolutely lethal when it's channeled correctly. He's not taking anything for granted, he's not coasting on his reputation, and he's definitely not letting the pressure get to him. Meanwhile, Dylan Gabriel is dealing with a completely different kind of pressure. He's the guy who was supposed to be the veteran presence, the experienced college quarterback who could step in and provide stability. But when you're dealing with physical limitations that are becoming more apparent every day, that pressure can become overwhelming really quickly. The football part of this story is obviously important, but let's talk about what this means for the Browns organization as a whole. They're a franchise that's been searching for quarterback stability for decades. They've tried everything: veterans, rookies, trades, free agency signings, and nothing has worked consistently. Now they've got a situation where one of their rookie quarterbacks is potentially separating himself from the pack in ways that nobody expected. But here's the thing that's making this whole situation even more dramatic. The competition isn't just about who's better right now. It's about who's going to be better in the future, who's going to be the face of the franchise, who's going to be the guy that Browns fans can rally behind for the next decade. And based on what we're seeing in these early OTA reports, that decision might be getting made a lot sooner than anyone anticipated. The numbers don't lie, and they're telling a story that should have every Browns fan paying attention. When a rookie quarterback is completing 77.4% of his passes in OTAs, that's not just good, that's exceptional. When he's throwing touchdown passes at a rate that has coaches taking notice, that's not just impressive, that's franchise changing. When he's doing all of this while dealing with limited reps and the pressure of proving himself, that's not just noteworthy, that's legendary. But let's not forget about the elephant in the room. This is still June, and a lot can change. Between now and the start of the regular season, training camp is going to be the real test. And that's where we'll see if Shedeur Sanders can maintain this level of performance when the intensity gets turned up to 11. Joint practices, preseason games, and the full weight of NFL expectations. That's where careers are made or broken. The Dylan Gabriel situation is particularly interesting because it highlights how quickly things can change in the NFL. A few months ago, he was being talked about as a potential starter, a guy who could come in and compete immediately. Now, the conversation has shifted to whether he can even secure the backup role. And that's a dramatic fall from grace that shows just how quickly the NFL can humble even the most accomplished college players. Here's what's really going to make this story explosive. The Browns have invested significant draft capital in both of these quarterbacks, and they're going to want to see a return on that investment. But if one guy is clearly outperforming the other, how long do you stick with the guy who's struggling? How long do you give him to figure it out before you make the tough decision? The pressure is going to be intense, the scrutiny is going to be relentless, and the expectations are going to be sky high. But based on what we're seeing right now, Shedeur Sanders seems to be thriving in that environment, while Dylan Gabriel is struggling to find his footing. This isn't just about two rookie quarterbacks competing for a job. This is about the future of the Cleveland Browns franchise, and the early returns suggest that future might be brighter than anyone expected. The question isn't whether Shedeur Sanders can play in the NFL. The question is whether the Browns are ready to hand him the keys to the kingdom and let him drive this franchise to places it's never been before. But wait, there's something else happening behind the scenes that nobody's talking about, and it's going to change everything you think you know about this competition. The veteran quarterback situation is creating even more drama than anyone realized. We've got Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett both fighting for their NFL lives. And the word around the facility is that the Browns are planning to keep both rookie quarterbacks on the roster, which means one of those veterans is going to be looking for a new job real soon. Think about the implications of that decision. If the Browns are confident enough in both Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel to keep them both, that tells you everything you need to know about how they view the veteran situation. These aren't just developmental picks. These are potential franchise quarterbacks, and the Browns are treating them as such. But here's where it gets really interesting from a psychological perspective. When you're a veteran quarterback and you're watching two rookies come in and potentially take your job, that creates a dynamic that can either motivate you to elevate your game or completely destroy your confidence. And based on what we're hearing, the veterans are feeling the pressure in ways that are becoming more apparent every day. The reality is that this quarterback competition is creating ripple effects throughout the entire organization. The coaching staff is having to adjust their plans. The front office is having to reconsider their roster construction. And the fans are starting to get excited about possibilities that seemed impossible just a few months ago. Where does this leave us? We've got a rookie quarterback who's exceeding all expectations, another rookie who's struggling with physical limitations, and a veteran situation that's becoming more complicated by the day. The Browns quarterback room is about to become the most interesting storyline in the NFL, and we're just getting started. This is the kind of story that defines franchises, that creates legends, and that fans talk about for decades. Whether Shedeur Sanders can maintain this level of performance, whether Dylan Gabriel can overcome his physical limitations, and whether the Browns can finally solve their quarterback puzzle. These are the questions that are going to drive the conversation all the way to the regular season. Make sure you're subscribed because we're going to be following this story every step of the way. This isn't just about football. This is about dreams, expectations, and the relentless pursuit of greatness in the most unforgiving league in professional sports. The Browns quarterback battle is just getting started, and you don't want to miss a single moment of what's about to unfold. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let me know in the comments. Do you think Shedeur Sanders has already won this competition, or is there still time for Dylan Gabriel to turn things around? This story is far from over, and the best is yet to come.